Police Minister Bheki Cele, accompanied by National Commissioner Khehla Sitole, have arrived at the Philippi East Police Station in the Cape Flats, where they are expected to interact with community members. Cele is currently being briefed about the impact of the recent efforts to curb criminality. There's a heavy police presence in the area. It is in this community that 11 people were shot dead in an incident believed to be gang-related a week ago. Cele announced the deployment of the soldiers, the South African National Defence Force, to support the police to fight crime in these areas a few days after the incident. Let us now cross live to our reporter Vanessa Puna. Vanessa, in fact, there the minister is speaking, so we're not going to chat to Vanessa. Let's listen in on what the Minister Bheki Cele has to say.
That you start by saying that and you come back to ask. But having said that, it's not about 10. The stance has been one all the time that we will act on the SNDF when the communities are making that call. It has been a political call all the time from political platforms until the CPFs from Mitchell's Plain, 8 of them, and the people from Philippi, as we come in the meeting, they made the call. It's the communities now that have made the call. When the communities make the call, we have to respond as a government. But if it is still some political calls and all that, we take it with a very serious caution. But communities now have made the call, hence we have responded.
Minister, you spoke about the anti-gang unit as well, and given that the communities have made this call, wouldn't it indicate that police have failed? If you just look at the minister.
I don't hear a question.
You mentioned the anti-gang unit as a response to the crisis in this area, and it's debatable how successful they've been. And given that communities have made the call for the army to be deployed, would it indicate that the police have failed?
No, absolutely not. The police, I just wonder if all these efforts have not been put where we would be. I think people must take that on board. Many people have been, since the anti-gang unit, many people have been arrested. Maybe ourselves were guilty of not giving the feedback on those things. Very high-profile people have been arrested. And indeed, if we need to do an extra effort, that extra effort will be done. That's a part of that. But as the National Commission would say of the stabilization, we need to sustain going forward. And the police will have to do that. Army cannot be permanent here. It's not the work of the police. Stabilization, but sustainability, the police will have to do that. The only call is that the communities themselves will have to work with the police. There are things that we need to fix. There are things that the communities will have to fix. So we are working on our relationship so that the life goes on. And absolutely not. The police has done the good job here. Now they need this extra for a time being, and then we go back to our line.
Is the Army Minister going to conduct search and seizures? Because that's what the community is asking for.
No, there is no community that has asked. The community has asked the presence, even this morning, the presence of the Army. They haven't got on operations, and operations will be kept. The Army works under the command of the police once they are there, and the operations, we're not going to talk about them, what is going to happen. We're not going to talk about operations.
Minister, just on a point of clarity, please, you mentioned 140 something arrests since the operation started. When did the operation start? And just that number again, please.
The operation started Thursday morning at 2, and then it was here again Friday until morning. We're part of that. We were here until 2:45 in the morning, and that 141 happened between that time, from then up to this. Yeah.
Thank you, guys. There's nothing else.
Sivuke sazovakasha ukuzobona abantu la, nibuza ukuthi besothini kubona, ikakhulu besolalela, sikuzwile abakushilo, siyazazi izinto ekufanele sizenze, sikuqalene ngeenkokheli zasekuhlaleni epolice station, bakhona izinto abayishoyo, ezinye zazi asikwazi ukuzisho la ngoba kuzoba umsebenzi wokuthi sikwenza kanjani abakushilo. commissioner here, National Commissioner, Provincial Commissioner, Deputy Minister, myself, kunezinto esizozenza ukuya phambili esithembayo ukuthi emva kwesikhathi esithile zizobe seyilungile izinto. Amasosha afikile bawalungiselela ukuthi abe khona. Leyo ukuthi sikhulume kakhulu no, asona amasosha samaphoyisa. Imphakathi kufanele ikulungele ukwamukela amasosha. Asikwazi ukuzothusa imphakathi leyo kuthiwa surprise. Asikwazi ukuthusa imphakathi ingasebenzisani namaphoyisa. Kufanele siwalungisele imphakathi ukuthi bekhona. Siyathemba ukuthi kulungele ngoba iyona ememezayo ethi amasosha wese ukuthi kuzokwenzekani mase efikile amasosha asuyisho ke leyo kuyobonakala mase efikile. Siyabonga.
We're stuck in the car in the traffic. What time is it?
Police Minister Bheki Cele, they're speaking to the community in Philippi, as we heard there, well, at the top of the hour, the fact that they have, well, he is in Philippi and he's been addressing the community. Some of the pointers that we picked up on as he summarized his visit there, he says, he and the Police Commissioner Khehla Sitole were there to listen to what the community had to say. They've listened, they've heard some of their cries, although they cannot divulge exactly what some of the matters that the community have brought up. They will try and have a turnaround strategy and how they help out in that regard. The SNDF are there. He confirms their presence, that's of course being the army, and he confirms that as soon as, well, he cannot once again divulge whether they'll be involved in operations with regards to the SNDF, but they will be there to assist the police in as far as operations. So the police are going to be heading all operations in as far as that area Philippi is concerned with that. Now, apparently our reporter Vanessa Puna is joining us right now on the line. Vanessa Puna was there with his Police Minister Bheki Cele. Vanessa, welcome to SABC News. You were on the agenda. Quick one, we saw the minister there addressing the community. A couple of pointers, interesting facts that the minister brought up, Vanessa Puna, as we try and get into shot. The SNDF are there, they're going to help out the community, but the police are the ones who are running things because, once again, the army are not police officials. There's a huge difference in bringing the army and the police in as far as keeping the peace and keeping, well, some sort of civility in the community.
Yes, good morning to you. Police Minister Bheki Cele now just making his way out of the Philippi area. He's been here this morning telling us in that briefing a short while ago that he's come here to hear what the community has to say. He also said a short while ago that since the operations happened in the early hours of Thursday and Friday morning, 140 suspects had been arrested, and he said that this was in connection with a spate with across the range, including murders and so on. There are members of the Philippi community that are prepared to speak to us at the moment to hear what they have to say after the minister's engagement. Sir, the Minister of Police has been here. You've heard what he has to say. As a member of the Philippi community, do you welcome the interventions, the extra police deployments? Do you welcome the fact that the South African National Defence Force will help police? What are the issues affecting residents here in Philippi?
Yeah, here in Philippi, ma'am, we need more police and more soldiers because everything is not right. We are running on danger. Every day, there's a lot of young boys attacking people. So that's why we're happy when the minister is here. But we need the police, not the minister. We need more police and the more soldiers to protect us. We're living on danger.
We've seen over the past few days, since Thursday, there has been quite an increased number of police. Mostly also we've seen them in full force out at the police station precinct. Are you experiencing lots of police patrols within the area and within the community themselves?
Yes, we did see the police. We did see the police trying to protect us, but the boys are still continuing to do the same. So we need the police to enter all over the areas, especially in Marikana. We don't have a light, so it's difficult also to police to go through. So we need also to be helped to get the lights to be on. If the police go, it's easy to go in because the boys, when they take something, they run inside, and it's difficult to get them because there is no light inside. So we need the more police, but we did see them as extra police. But we still need more because it looks like there is no police because these things still continuing to happen.
What are the major challenges? You said that there are young boys running around in areas such as Philippi. That would mean that young people are not employed. If I hear you correctly, is that the issue? Is unemployment one of the big factors that you think is contributing to the high crime level?
Yes. It's one of the unemployment because there is no work. So maybe if there is an opportunity for people to get work, things gonna be easy. Because this thing is happening, but they're having firearms, They go, when you have a plaza, you can't buy a plaza here because they come in and take the plaza out. So I think they need work. If there is the opportunity of people getting work, they think it's going to be easy.
Thank you very much. Of course, just some of the residents of Philippi joining me now as the police minister departs from this area. Of course, we know that Philippi has been in the headlines in recent weeks following what has been described as a bloody weekend when 6 women were gunned down in one incident, 5 men in separate incidents. And of course, that would not have been the only time that residents of Philippi would have experienced violent crime in this fashion. It is something that has been affecting not just Philippi, areas across Cape Town, across the metro, and this is what they're saying: increased visibility. At least there's one gentleman saying, welcoming the fact that the South African National Defence Force troops will be deployed to assist police, and also saying that there are a myriad of socio-economic issues, among them being extreme poverty as well as unemployment among the youth in this area.
Vanessa, before I let you go, on that topic, what your guest has just said, that they appreciate the SNDF being there. Does the community understand what the presence of the SNDF would mean, firstly? And secondly, on the flip side, one would say maybe that's what they really need in that area, in particular because coming back from the weekend where those 11 dead last weekend, people are tired of the police. They need the SNDF to come in and help out. Do they understand what comes with the SNDF being deployed on the ground in their streets?
Well, what I can tell you is that the gentleman I just spoke to now specifically said that increased policing as well as the South African National Defence Force deployment will be welcomed in this area. But I can tell you that there has been quite a number of concerns raised within communities as well as from organised bodies. Some of them saying that the fact that the South African National Defence Force, for example, soldiers are not trained to do the work of police, saying that soldiers operate and act on a different mandate. But of course, a short while ago, the police minister saying that in this instance, when the SANDF is deployed on the request of the South African Police Service, they will then work underneath the police service in terms of what is required. We have in the past seen a cooperation with various operations, including members of SAPS as well as the South African National Defence Force, whereby then the Defence Force would act as assisting in locking down communities, basically being on the perimeter of these communities, ensuring that police can go ahead with their operations of searches and seizures. And the minister also saying that the army, as we understand it at this point, he will not elaborate on operations, saying that essentially remains the work of the police.
The minister as well, Vanessa, speaking about the community and the need for the community to work with the police. A couple of weeks ago, we heard the minister out here in Gauteng speaking about some of these gangsters, some of these thugs, some of the scollies, so to speak, go home, and the very communities that complain make dinner, breakfast and sleep in the same beds, in the same homes with them. It's time for the communities to stand up and say, not in our name, you cannot be here if you're going to be worrying other families and other children out on the streets. It's the community's job as well to, work with the police as well as the apparatus and as far as safety of the community as well.
Indeed, and I'm going to be joined now by one of the residents of Philippi East. Sir, perhaps I can just pose the question to you. Yes. We're being asked, time and time again, we've heard from various law enforcement authorities and so on, saying that the community themselves must be involved with helping police because the people that are committing these crimes are within the communities themselves. Community members in some instance may know exactly who are the perpetrators of these crimes. What would you say if I ask you how the community can help police and the law enforcement authorities in terms of rooting out crime?
Sorry, lady. The only thing I know, even the police, they involve what is happening here because they arrest people today, tomorrow they released. Even if we try as a community member to catch those people, the only thing, the police, they give those people information that we're planning to do that. The only thing I think is going to be helping us as a community of Marikana and Philippi, if we go hand to hand to help each other, and then the police come to save us as the community members, I think everything is going to be all right. The only problem I have here, we see the police when we come here, the journalists, the minister, whatever, the police is going to be around. But after that, there is no police.
Thank you very much. Of course, now just a word from more of the Philippi residents saying that yes, they do agree that community members must hold the hands of police, but also saying that there are gaps. For example, people would be arrested one day and then the very same suspects that were arrested would be released a day or so later to come back and terrorize the communities. So I understand that communities are, at least from those that I've been speaking to, are eager to assist, but also saying that they face people pushing back when they are released on bail, etc., and come back into communities once they've assisted police in identifying them.
Thank you very much. The SABC senior reporter Vanessa Puna speaking just live from Philippi. As you saw there, the Minister of Minister of Police Bheki Cele visiting that area with regards to the safety and the concerns raised by the residents with the SANDF now being deployed. But as you heard, on a limited capacity, the police services will be in charge of all operations. The SANDF will help where, asked by the SAPS to help, and some of the information could not divulge because of what the community have asked them to do.